Hey, what's going on, YouTubers? On this episode of Super Retro Geek, I'm actually going to be doing my very first app review, and this is primarily just going to be all Android. I might do other for other OSs or devices, if that ever comes. But right now, I'm just doing app reviews for Android. Now, before I begin, I'd just like to talk about what I'm actually using to do this. Hardware-wise, I'm using a tablet, and some of you might be familiar with it, some of you might not be. It's called the Hisense Zero 07 Pro tablet, or as I like to call it, the Walmart tablet. And basically, what this tablet is, it was actually the very first Nexus 7 hardware-wise. This thing has a 1.3 gigahertz NVIDIA Tegra 3 quad-core processor, 1 gigs of RAM. It has a 7-inch 1280 by 800 resolution, and it comes with 8 gigs of memory. Now, what separates this from the Nexus 7 are a few things. The first thing is this actually has an SD card slot, which I really wish the Nexus 7, the original one, had, but it didn't. Even the new one doesn't have it. That's a Google thing. All their Nexus devices do not have an SD card slot. I don't know why, but that's why they chose it. The second thing that this has that the original Nexus 7 doesn't is you can actually display HDMI out. It has a mini HDMI port, which is wonderful, especially if you like watching movies or playing games off of your tablet. And the final thing that it has is it actually has a rear camera with a flash. So the reason why I chose this hardware, I also have an HTC One, but I didn't want to do the recording on that because I'd have to root it. The reason I chose this is because it's fairly powerful, and it's gonna be able to allow me to review 90% of all the apps out there. Some newer apps I won't be able to run, or to just run so bad that it's probably not worth it. And also this tablet, when I bought it was $180. Now it's like $150. So, which is still a wonderful price. So there are newer tablets out there, but I haven't seen one tablet so far that you're getting this much for your money. And so that's it for my hardware. Now on to the very first app that I'm reviewing. And the very first app that I'm reviewing, coincidentally, is actually the app that's recording this right now. This is called SCR Screen Recorder Pro. Now, on Android, the way you would record your screen, the primary way is you would actually have to have some type of screen recording app. Not unless you want to get a camera and just record yourself, you know, playing on your device, which most people do. Um, and what that requires for pretty much all the apps, you're going to actually have to root your device. Now, there are some apps that you don't have to root your device, but it's just not a good experience, and most of the times it doesn't work anyway. The majority of screen recording apps on the Play Store they're just bad. Either they're too laggy, or they're too buggy, or it just doesn't work as advertised, or they limit you to the amount of time, or they have way too many ads. Now for SCR Screen Pro, they do have a free version, but that does limit the amount of time that you can record. And so I liked it, I played with it, and so I went ahead and purchased the Pro version. And these are some of the things that I really like about this app. The first thing is it works. So that's already a big plus for me. It actually works. So resolution wise, this is cool. You could actually choose different resolutions. Now the software itself, it'll automatically detect your hardware and it'll choose the best resolution that it thinks it can handle. And so in my case, it's 480p. But you could go up to, well, I think that's almost 1080p. I'm not sure, 1280 by 800. However, my device can't handle that. So you could also adjust the bitrate. So for all the other reviewers that I've seen, or other videos I've seen for SCR Screen Pro, people have typically chosen 15 megabytes, and the default is 10 megabytes. So far it works. Another thing I like about it, on the source, you could actually use the audio source from your microphone, or you could mute the source. I haven't played with it enough to see if it'll take the audio from the actual app, but I'm gonna test it out. And you can also choose what your sampling rate is for your actual sound, which is cool. And you can also hide your notification. So if you so want to. I'm gonna leave that on because I want them to see the whole screen. And another thing that I love this show touches option. So, people are watching your screen recordings, they kind of want to know where you're at. So that's awesome to have that. And the final thing is just your stop screen on and off. When you're done recording, you can either just turn your screen off and then turn it back on after 2 seconds and it'll go ahead and stop the recording, or you could just restart the app. And that's pretty much it for this app. There's really not much to it. It's very simple, but it works as advertised. About the only things that I don't like about it, and maybe this isn't the software's fault, but it's a little laggy, as you could probably tell just by watching this video. But I think that's primarily due to the hardware and not the software. And so if you have newer hardware, either new tablet or new phone, this thing should work really well, especially at high resolutions. Now, like I said, SCR Pro, it is not free. There is a free version, but it limits your time. If you want to get the SCR Screen Recorder Pro, you can get it at the Google Play Store, and it's at only $5. Well, not only, but it's $5. But I think that's well worth it. So the next versions of Android, I think CyanogenMod 10 and 11, maybe 11 already has screen recording built in. However, I couldn't find a ROM that would work well with this tablet. I've tried it, and I just couldn't get it to work. Or maybe the next version of Android, Android L, I think it might have screen recording built in, so I'm not sure about that. So that's it for this episode of Super Retro Geek. So we will see you later on the next episode.